I'm Nancy Brown with Coldwell Banker Advantage, and I'm here today with Sherrie Madeiros with First Impression Home Staging. And the reason I invited her to do a video with me in an interview is because I get the question all the time, does it make sense for me to stage my home? And do I need to stage my home to help it sell? And that is a real loaded question. And the next question I always get is, how much is this going to cost? And is it worth it? So we are here to hopefully put your mind at ease and help you out. So, first question, how much does it cost? And it depends.
It does depend. One of the first things I like to tell my clients is that the investment in home staging is usually going to be less than your first price drop when your home doesn't sell, right? There's a lot of things to consider. How quickly is your home going to sell? It's going to sell faster when we stage it. And how much is it going to sell for? Well, 90% of my clients usually get their full asking price, if not higher.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
a huge statistic. 90%.
And one of the things, Sherrie, is like buying a home is such an emotional decision. And you have to be able to feel, as a real estate agent, I tell my clients, like the emotion has to be there and you really have to fall in love with the home because it's such a huge investment. And when you stage your home to sell, the buyer coming in can become emotionally attached to themselves living in the house versus whether you're falling in love with the stuff that you have in the house that's personal to you. You want to try to take the personal out of the house so that they can fall in love with the house once you are gone.
Right. And that's what we do in home staging, right? Whether we're using the items that the seller's already has, or we're using items from my inventory, or a combination of. It really depends on every client. So we are there to neutralize the space. If we're using your items, taking those personal items out and keeping what's important to create those emotional attachments for the clients, right? And that's what we're doing with our inventory as well. We're bringing in items that are suitable and not so taste specific necessarily, but are appropriate for the home that we're trying to sell.
Makes sense.
Right.
So when a client calls and they ask you about staging their home, what are some things that you offer so that they can feel comfortable moving forward with their decision, besides just saying, oh, I have to hire a home stager, right, and it's an overwhelming decision?
Right. One of the first things that I always suggest is let's start with a home consultation. So in the home consultation, I give them a whole folder, right? And in this folder, we have a home staging report. There's a lot of information listed in here that I tell every buyer. How to stay prepared for all of their showings, what to pack when you're about to move out, what are the little things that you can do to stage your home, okay? So, but then we're going through that person's home, inside and out, from front to back. I always say from the curb to the back fence, from the top to the bottom, going over everything, right? Furniture placement, art placement, accessories, any updates that might need to happen. For instance, flooring or paint. I'm going to help them with paint colors, their paint choices, and helping them understand where to put all of those items if they're going to be staging the home themselves. So sometimes that's all a client needs, right? Another service that I might offer is photo prep service. So perhaps they've taken all of my advice and done everything that we need to do with the consultation, but they just need help with the little bits of touches, right? Getting those towels folded perfectly, setting up the accessories in just the right way that we're drawing the eye around the home appropriately. So maybe a photo prep service is good for them. Now, then there are also the times when people have to move out, or they choose to move out because it's just easier for them. And in that case, then I have an inventory of furniture, art, and accessories that I can bring in to the home, and we can stage the home appropriately that way.
That's perfect. And I know that some people might ask about, virtually staging the home with photos. And what I see as a problem with that is, even though it looks great in the MLS, when you go and tour the home, sometimes it's hard to visualize what the home feels like once you're inside because there's not any actual furniture. And sometimes the scale is hard to determine of where furniture placement is going to go.
I've heard many clients actually say that they feel disappointed or let down when they walk into the vacant home after seeing it so beautifully staged online, and they're confused.
Right.
They're like, wait, this isn't the same home. And now, because the home is vacant, the buyers are able to see all of the little, just the little errors in the home, or all the little mishaps, or all the little tiny flaws that really are not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but that's what they're seeing because the home is vacant.
Right. And there's no way to cover things up.
Right.
And we all have things we sometimes need to cover up.
Right. And in staging, I'm actually not there to cover things up anyways. I'm not there to cover up flaws. That's completely unethical on my part.
That's not what I
I
meant.
know. But what is important is that I am drawing the buyer's eye to all the amazing features of the home. Right? I'm drawing their eye away from the fact that this home might have popcorn ceiling that isn't so desirable, right? But that's okay. It works. Like, if you can draw their eye away from that and bring it towards what's happening throughout the home and bring it down to the beautiful floors maybe.
And the
that's
focus is there, right? So no, I'm not covering anything up, not major things.
No.
Just some
We're
clutter.
drawing the eye away, drawing attention away. Absolutely.
So, when your clients, can you tell a little story maybe about someone that was a little bit apprehensive about hiring a stager, and then a success story of how that went?
I have a handful of those, actually. So I had a home that, well, it wasn't my home, but it was previously listed with another agent, and the home sat on the market in Cary for well over 2 months in the summertime, and there weren't any offers in it. So she ended up firing her agent. She hired another one. They brought me in to stage the home. And the first thing we started off with was a consultation for a vacant home. And I gave her about a $15,000 punch list. Pretty sure she wanted to punch me. Because it was a lot of work, right? But the thing is I'm giving her this punch list of $15,000. Buyers are seeing it as a $30,000 punch list or more. So they're seeing the price of the home and they're thinking, nuh-uh, that's not what it's worth. I'd have to knock this price down. They don't want to bother. They're going to move on to the next home that's move-in ready. So instead of her $15,000 punch list, I ended up giving her a smaller punch list. This is more like $1,000 to $1,500. Just some little things that needed to be fixed, updated, and then we staged the home. We ended up staging the home a couple of days after Thanksgiving, that Saturday, actually, and by 2 p.m. they had their first offer.
Wow.
So they ended up getting full asking price at that point. So now the client loves me. Yay. Right? Because that helped. I had another one actually not too long ago as well. It's a very similar situation. There was just a lot of negative feedback on the home. Unfortunately, the flow didn't make sense. So I was able to go in and make sense of the flow. After it wasn't getting any attention for over a week, we were able to stage the home, and within days they had multiple offers as well.
Right.
So it's great. And that one, I believe they went over asking price as well.
Wow. So it really does make a difference. And of course, I've had listings that I have, wanted to stage, and clients that didn't want to spend money on the staging, but I really feel that it would have sold much quicker had they not been vacant homes. And I think in hindsight, when they reflect, they think that, well, maybe if I had made the decision to stage my home, it would not have sat on the market as long as it did, and I might not have had to lower my asking price as much as I had to. And the return is so much greater than trying to go empty and catching the buyer's eye.
Right. I definitely have better luck with my clients, I should say, have better luck with selling their home faster and for over asking price when we do it right the first time. Right. If we don't try the wait and see method, as soon as they decide that they're going to list their home, stage it first.
Right.
Because those are the ones that push that 90% to the 1 or 2 day after list that they're getting sold, and those are the ones that are getting the over asking price. Whereas the ones that try the wait and see method, they may have to still drop their price a little bit in order to get some attention back to their home, unfortunately. And then it might take a little while longer, but they're still not sitting on the market for very much longer after that point.
Right, and the longer you stay on the market, days on market, you know, time ticks by, and then
Red
of course,
flags.
yes, and buyers come in and they want to lowball the offer because they're like, well, it's been on the market for 45 days, which actually isn't very long, but in a market where we've been selling, you know, within 7, 15 days, 45 days begins to feel a little bit long. So if we had staged, I think it would help.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
is there any questions that I'm not thinking of that the seller might have regarding staging? We talked about price, how it's different. And sometimes too, one thing I know, I don't think we really talked about this, but you know, sometimes we talked about a punch list and staging the home, you know, price definitely varies based on the price point of what you're selling in your home. It's not a package that, you know, fits every profile of every seller. It's a package that is designed for you and your needs is what I really love about First Impression, is that I feel like Sherrie does such a good job making sure that she curtails it to the client and what the client's needs are and what's best for that particular property.
Yeah. What's best for that property, what's best for that seller, and what meets their budgets, right? It doesn't always make sense to stage a home vacant, you know, a full vacant stage, what I call, for every single home. Sometimes it does, and it always pays off. So I try to be as smart as possible about making my recommendations of which type of service
To use.
they need. Absolutely.
Well, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on my Facebook page. You can email me at nbrown@cbadvantage.com. You can call me or text me at 919-525-4316. And Sherrie can also be contacted if you have any questions for her.
Yes, my phone number is 919-444-5002. I'd be happy to have a 15-minute discovery call with you and see if we are a good match and see how I can help you out selling your home.
Thank you to everyone that tuned in this evening.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
And then